Hey, and welcome to The Office Field Guide. My name's Chris, and I'm reviewing every episode of The Office ever, and today, we're looking at Cafe Disco.
Cafe Disco, more like Crappy Disco.
Cafe Disco is all about...
Cafe Disco.
Exactly.
So like a disco cafe?
What? No, not even close.
And today we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about this. And we're going to talk about this. Warning, there will be series spoilers ahead.
Warning! 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 Warning!
And with that, let's dance.
Oh, what the hell?
I understand nothing.
Alright, Cafe Disco was written by Warren Lieberstein and his writing partner, Halstead Sullivan, and directed by Randall Einhorn. Now, this was Warren Lieberstein's first Office episode writing credits. If you don't know, Warren was married to Angela Kinsey at the time this episode was filmed, and he is in fact Paul Lieberstein's real-life brother, and Toby's in-universe brother.
Do you like jams? My shelves are overflowing with preserves.
Warren's not the only writer to make a cameo on the show, with the plot actually being forwarded in this episode by a couple of the writers themselves. Warren said of this one, "We had this space where Michael Scott Paper Company used to be, and I remember wanting to do something with it."
I still have the lease on the Michael Scott Paper Company.
We're talking about what should it be? Should it be a cafe? Does Michael open up a small cafe? Which is an idea the show does play with in the future.
Start your morning right with a burst of blueberry, or try plain.
Or is it a dance club? And then Paul comes out of BJ's office. We're trying to figure out if it's gonna be a cafe. Paul just pauses, then he looks up and he's like, it's a cafe and a disco. He goes, Michael, there are two things that he loves, coffee
It is quite literally a drug that speeds people up.
and a disco.
Sometimes you have to just be the boss of dancing.
And this episode does break from the typical realism of the series and goes for something more surreal and maybe whimsical.
Full of whimsy.
Whimsical? Sullivan commented, then we said to ourselves, what are the stakes? So it's not just people dancing downstairs. It then became, can he get Angela to dance? He then spent an hour trying to get that little foot tap from Angela because she was just not gonna do that. And their writing has some clever little jokes in it, like Angela barely making it through the limbo bar, no problem.
There you are, I didn't see you behind that grain of rice. Boom, roasted.
And there are a few really quick lines in this one too that I really like this one.
Not as common as knee injuries, but more common than wrist injuries.
I don't need a history lesson,
What do
okay?
you think history is?
And then this one.
Hey, you want some espresso?
Oh yeah,
Gotta keep yourself dehydrated.
that's rule number one.
Aaron does get to really become Aaron in this episode.
Aaron, let me see your birth certificate.
Sure.
And her friendship with Kelly is really established here, something that the show would continue to explore in the main series.
Shut down the machine! Shut it down!
And in a string of webisodes. I made a comment about Aaron a few episodes ago that she's a Kevin-like figure, and that wasn't really well stated by me. What I meant is that quite often the writers use her for the fill-in-the-blank dumb person joke here,
Now we only have 4 strikes left until a home run.
in the same way that they do for Kevin.
Kevin, I can't decide between a fat joke and a dumb joke, boom, roasted.
That's not all she's here for, she's more than that. Like she's often someone's girlfriend.
That's it? Really?
I really do wish that they gave Aaron more of a series-wide arc, but it has been some time since I've watched the second half of The Office, so it'll be interesting to watch her develop as we go through these Office field guides. We know that Kevin only goes downhill from here.
Cookie, Kevin. Cookie.
There is no cookie, Kevin.
I really do love how they reused this room though.
If these walls could talk, they would say, this is a magical place. You are safe here.
It becomes something of a legacy in this series, being reused again
Welcome, children.
and again.
Maybe overlooking certain safety regulations.
The Cafe Disco turns out to be a hit. It really does feel like the spiritual season finale. Everyone, except Ryan, Toby, and Stanley, are dancing, having fun, feeling included, and I think that leads us directly into the deeper meaning.
What does a bean mean?
Someone please explain it to Kevin.
I think there's a beauty in the simplicity of this episode. Everyone, mostly in this one, are trying to figure out a place to belong. While some are hitting snags, they're just all at a different point in their journey. Erin is new here and she's wanting to fit in.
Do they not like me though?
I don't know, actually.
She gets in with the new boss.
I love it! I love it! Oh, what's that?
And is number 3.
I still don't understand why you wanted me to say that.
Shut up. And then some more coworkers.
You invited someone?
Oh yeah, was I not allowed to do that?
I know I've been here 8 years and I've never... Rude.
Phyllis, who's happily married to Bob Vance,
Vance Refrigeration,
is dealing with the insecurity of what if her husband pursues someone else much younger.
When I say it out loud, it's so silly.
Dwight's a fish out of water most days in the Scranton office.
I got your text. Who's Philip?
No.
Who tipped you over? Was it Philip?
Kelly's equally not really fit for the culture of this office. Andy's driven solely by his desire to fit in. Jim and Pam pretty much have found their own place to belong outside of the rest of the group. And Michael, missing the days of Pam and Ryan when they would goof around. He concocts this entire thing. Is it because he doesn't want to work? Maybe.
I don't want to work. I just want to bang on this mug all day.
Did you ask me here for any specific reason?
But once again, Michael's nutty idea of fusing a coffee shop dance club together in his old office space turns into something really cool. Kevin's having a good time. Phyllis and Bob are going to be just fine. Dwight's grooving.
Hey, come on, man!
Kelly and Andy develop a weird friendship.
1, 2, 3.
And Jim and Pam realize they'd be missing out without their fellow Scrantonians at their wedding.
I think maybe I want a wedding.
Me too.
Really?
Yeah. Something that they'd ultimately come to regret.
They had an accident, and you know what? These two people, they're living together, they are having lots of consensual sex.
And Michael, well, his short-term quest is victorious. So the message here is that sometimes the places we belong to, they're everything we want in life. And sometimes our heads are really far off in the clouds just to realize that we really do already have somewhere to belong. It's a beautiful message in an awesome episode. So let's rate this thing.
This is the worst.
Okay, as always, let me ask you first to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It really does help me out a ton. We also have a Discord that I'm fairly active on, and we have lots of ways to support the channel if you're interested in that sort of thing. Check out the links in the description. So for the cold opening,
I just won an art contest.
I don't know if this is their best work. It gets towards the end of the season, and I was reading all these stories about how insane of a place the writer's room was becoming, and they're just trying to get past this finish line. Even still, I feel like Kemper and Wilson pull this one off pretty effectively. Rain's maniacal laugh is way over the top, and I can't help but smile when I watch it. I'll give it a 3 out of 5. And yes, that does mean I think it's better than the broke cold opening.
Time to make the donuts.
Moving on, Cafe Disco, as I mentioned earlier, seems kind of like an episode that most series might end a season on. The staff is happy, there's a wedding looming on the horizon which could keep people engaged off-season, and all is pretty much resolved in our major arcs. And then we close out on this really delightful, harmonious note.
Oh, God. Oh, no.
This episode feels like a dream in a lot of ways. Plot points maintain some semblance of reality, but they're just too fanciful to really believe. And yet, it doesn't matter. I'm kind of enthralled by the developments and how everything plays out in this one. After seasons of being kicked around, bruised, beaten, and mostly by his own doing,
Pizza by Alfredo.
Michael finally gets a chance to experience this life that he's dreamt of.
I want to be married and have 100 kids so I can have 100 friends and no one can say no to being my friend.
The only bad thing I have to say about this episode, and I'm not really sure it's a bad thing, is that it is a filler episode. The only revelation that occurs that's series-wide is that Jim and Pam were gonna elope. But I don't really think that means much in the grand scheme of things. So I guess that's a con.
You all took a life here today. You did. The life of the party.
Yeah, I know. Honestly, I don't have much negative to say about this one. Filler aside, I give this one a 4 out of 5. I don't think it's as good as Broke.
We are so rich.
But it is a great episode of The Office. But that's just what I think about Cafe Disco. What are your thoughts? Leave them in the comments and come back next week when I cover the real season finale, Company Picnic. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.